This screencast is going to walk you through multiplying integers. So some of the steps are very similar to adding and subtracting integers, but within this case now we're looking at the idea of multiplication. So step 1, you are going to find the absolute value of each integer. So find the absolute value of each integer. And then what you are going to do is you are going to multiply the integers together after you find their absolute values. So truly you're multiplying the absolute values together. Then in order to determine the sign of the final answer or the product, you are going to use the following rules. If the signs of the two numbers are the same, then the product is always positive. So same signs, whether they're both positive or both negative, it's going to result in a positive answer. If the signs of the two numbers are different, then the product is always negative. So if you are multiplying a positive and a negative together, it would be a negative answer. And if you're multiplying a negative and a positive together, it's a negative answer. So let's take a look at our first example. Our first example is positive 4 times negative 7. So you are going to find the absolute value of positive 4 times the absolute value of negative 7. So if I look, absolute value of 4 is 4 times absolute value of negative 7 is 7. So I get an answer of 28. But I am multiplying numbers with two different signs. So if I have two different signs or the signs are different, that tells me that my final answer is going to be a negative 28 versus a positive 28. If I look at example 2, I see that both of my signs are the same. They're both negative. So again, I'm going to find the absolute value of negative 3 times the absolute value of negative 6. And then the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. The absolute value of negative 6 is 6. And 3 times 6 is 18. Since my signs of my numbers are the same, it is going to be a positive 18 as my answer. If we take a look at example 3, again, I'm multiplying numbers with the same sign, so they're both positive. So I'm going to find the absolute value of positive 9 times the absolute value of positive 5. The absolute value of positive 9 is 9 times the absolute value of positive 5 is 5. Since the signs are both the same, my answer is going to be positive. So I'm going to multiply 9 times 5. I would get 45. So my final answer should be positive 45. Example 4, I'm looking at negative 6 times positive 6. So again, I'm going to find the absolute value of negative 6 and multiply that times the absolute value of positive 6. The absolute value of negative 6 is 6. The absolute value of positive 6 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. However, I'm multiplying numbers with different signs, so my final answer would be a negative 36. So negative 6 times positive 6 is negative 36. Final example is looking at three numbers being multiplied together. You would still follow the same procedure, except we're going to break this down and we're going to look at the first two numbers first, and then we'll add in the second piece. So we're going to look at negative 9 times positive 4. So we're going to find the absolute value of negative 9 times the absolute value of negative 4. So these are both the same signs, so my end result is going to be a positive. So I have 9 times 4, and 9 times 4 is positive 36. Then I'm going to multiply that times the absolute value of positive 2. Again, these have the same symbols, so I'm doing 36 times 2. 36 times 2 is 72, and since they are both positive, my answer would be positive 72. So negative 9 times negative 4 times positive 2 would be positive 72. So again, to review multiplying integers, step 1, you find the absolute value of each integer. Step 2, you multiply the absolute values of each integer together. And then step 3, to determine the sign of the final answer or the product, you use the following rules. If the signs are the same, positive, positive, negative, negative, the answer is positive. If the signs are different, so positive, negative, or negative, positive, the product is negative.